inspiration.
Covering Grand Cayman, Little Cayman, Cayman Brac.
Since 1976 till now.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
This is For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
Brought to you by the Health Services Authority. Caring people, quality service. Visit hsa.ky.
For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
Brought to you by Healthcare Pharmacy, where they care about your health. 2 locations, Governor Square and Grand Harbor. Refill and transfer prescriptions online. Call 947-8900 or visit healthcarepharmacy.ky. Also brought to you by Cayman Medical Center, Cayman's most awarded private medical clinic.
And UHealth, International University of Miami.
World-class healthcare in the heart of Miami.
The Light Room, your holistic sanctuary for physical and mental restoration, repair, and rejuvenation. The power that made the body heals the body. 38 Pasadora Place, Georgetown. Find us online at www.thelightroom.ky or call 938-HEAL.
For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
There's nothing more important than your health, and seeking expert healthcare with physicians you can trust is what you deserve. UHealth, the University of Miami Health System, offers peace of mind to you and your family with a first-class experience. Our patient coordinators assist with everything you need before, during, and after your stay with us. As South Florida's only academic-based health system, UHealth offers cutting-edge treatment, compassionate care, and life-changing results just a flight away. Learn more at umiamihealth.org/international.
When I first started going to Healthcare Pharmacy, it was because it was convenient. But over the years, I continued to shop there because I trusted them. One day I was picking up my prescription, and the pharmacist noticed an over-the-counter medication in my basket. She said, "I hope that's not yours. It will interact with your prescription." And I thought, wow, thank you. Trust is so important when it comes to your health. Healthcare Pharmacy with 2 locations, Grand Harbor and Governor Square, where they care about my health.
Hello and welcome to For the Health of It. I'm your host, Tara Bush. This is our very first show of the new year, and I'm really excited to be kicking things off with a topic that affects every single one of us, health and longevity. And it truly means how to age well. Today, we'll be talking about aging and not just living longer, but living better with strength, energy, and independence. I'm delighted to welcome our guest, Chris NUTALL from Great White Fitness. Chris works with people every day who want to stay active, get stronger throughout every age of their life. Hello and welcome to For the Health of It.
Hi, thank you very much for that wonderful introduction there, Tara.
Well, Chris, what is the first thing we have to be aware of about aging well, healthy?
Yeah, so as you alluded to, the main thing we're looking for is being able to, fulfill all those objectives that we still have later in life and not succumbing to old age, but being able to live longer and healthier. So it's not just about the years that we live, but the life in those years. So what we're trying to do is stay active and fit and be able to be there for our grandkids and all those other things that we want to be doing. And that's the fundamentals of health as we age, as opposed to looking good.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. And what are the biggest misconceptions people have about training as they get older?
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest things is, especially if you've not started when you're younger, in your 20s and 30s and even 40s, that people are scared of it or that I'm too old, it's already too late for me, which is not true at all. I've seen clients in their 60s, 70s who have, gone on to do great things and actually really kind of been able to turn themselves around. So there's a Chinese proverb, which is the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. And I think that is key, that no matter how old you are, if you start now, then you will be able to see benefits.
And we're not talking here about becoming a bodybuilder or running a marathon.
No.
This is just everyday, how to carry a suitcase, how to pick up your grandkids.
Exactly, that's it. You know, the idea of going to the gym to try and look good is not the case. You know, it's functional. And there's this whole idea of functional training, but, well, what is that, you know? Squatting down to be able to pick up your grandkids, you know, so a squat is functional. It's about being able to actually move well, and so rather than in a gym setting, we don't really look at, I'm going to train my back, or I'm going to train my arms, or I'm going to train my legs. What we're training is movement patterns. So hinging, which is a way of picking heavy things up, like your grandkids. Squatting down, you know, being able to put things away in your low drawers that you might not be able to bend down and reach. Lunging, being able to walk on one leg and balance and all those kinds of things. These are the things that we train as we get older, rather than training our biceps, you know, to look good.
Yeah, because, I mean, one of the biggest implications for death of older people is actually falling.
Yes. Yeah.
So this is, I have been trying to train to be a healthy senior since I was in my 50s, consciously.
And that's it. The conscious part of it is the big part, that if you make the effort and do it consistently, then you'll see the results. It's hard to start, but the confidence comes through action and not the other way around. So you've just got to start to be able to get there. You don't have to be good to start, but you have to start to be good.
I love that. It's, you know, you don't need to be confident to start.
No.
You're right. Once you put in the reps.
That's it, exactly. You know, and if it is a case that you haven't done anything for a while, then do find that guidance, you know, whether that is through a trainer, and there's some great trainers we have here on Grand Cayman, or it is YouTube. You know, there is so many ways of getting the information that we need now on the internet, where we're not hamstrung like we were 20, 30 years ago, where it was in books in dark corners. You know, the information is at your fingertips, and you just need to either go out there and find it, or find somebody who can show you. I always call myself the cheat code, the shortcut. You know, I learned a lot of it myself just through research online and what have you, and I spent 20 years making all the mistakes. And so then I now know how to do it, so I can give you that shortcut. And especially as we get older, we might need that, because we don't have 20 years necessarily to make all those mistakes. And obviously it's a lot easier to make those mistakes when you're 20 than when you're 70. But just trying to understand that whatever you do will benefit you, even if it's just 10 minutes a day.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta call myself out. I do not like the gym. Me and the gym have a real love and hate relationship, and I do yoga, but I realized that I had to lift weights, so I went back and I started off with 1 day a week, and now I am up to 3 days a week, and I don't look forward to it. It's not the highlight, but I do it, and I really am feeling much better for it, and I continue with the other things. So it does make a difference. What are we looking when we go get a trainer? I know you said most of us can maybe even do this on our own, but maybe go get a package for five sessions with a trainer to just get your form right or whatever. What are you looking for?
Yeah, so if you are wanting to go out and get a trainer, then you need to be clear about what your goals are. And that will be, for most people, that I'm just looking to stay healthier and be more active in my later years, and then making sure that what they're giving you is appropriate. So the best way of understanding if a trainer's good is if they're giving you the basics. There's obviously social media has played a huge role in the fitness industry over the last 5 years or so. There are lots of very fancy kind of exercises out there, and sometimes people can get kind of bogged down in all of that. And it is difficult if you are starting out and you start researching, that you'll probably see a lot of conflicting advice online. And if you don't know, then it becomes very difficult and you kind of end up with this, stuck between a rock and a hard place. So it's working on the fundamentals, So can you hinge properly? Which is learning to pick the heavy things up off the floor. Can you squat? Can you lunge? Can you pull, push? Okay, they're the basics. Okay, and that is mostly 95% of what people need. The other 5% is the mobility, is the stuff that's specific to them. So if you have dodgy knees or you have bad hips or a bad lower back, then what extra can I do to improve that? The big thing is when you, because typically it's shoulders, hips and knees are the three big ones that people have injuries with or have problems with, and they're the restrictive things. But if you are conscientious and you just spend a few minutes a day, you can improve all those things. So saying I've got bad knees, I can't go to the gym, is a bad excuse. I know I was younger, but in 32, I tore my ACL. It didn't keep me out of the gym though. I was in there in crutches, a week or two after surgery. Because the more you can do, so for example, if you have an injury on your left leg, then there's studies that show if you train your right leg, you'll actually see less muscle deterioration in that left one compared to if you did nothing.
Wow.
So you want to make sure that even if you do have injuries, you're still trying to do something. You're still trying to work around that. You're still trying to do something, and not just say, well, because my knee's gone or my elbow's gone, I can't do anything. There's always something you can do. And that pain, you have to kind of sometimes work through it. Pain is obviously a body's response and telling you that something's not okay. I did the half marathon last year, and quite often during the training, I would have an issue in the knee or the hip to begin with on the start of running. But if I kind of just took it easy and backed off a little bit and then got going again, you'd find that kind of went away. And so if I'd have just gone, ow, that hurt, and stopped, okay, I'm not doing this anymore, then I might not have finished that training session. If you just ease into it, warm up more, then you might find that the body responds and it's okay again.
Good advice. Should men and women be approaching training differently?
I don't think that is the case. I think it is becoming less and less, so it's become more and more evident that there aren't huge differences in terms of the medicine of exercise and of movement. The ways in which we age between men and women are different. So for women, a lot of those hormonal changes going into perimenopause, for example, will cause drastic changes in the body. For men, it tends to be more gradual in terms of loss of testosterone, which leads to that kind of loss of muscle mass and what have you. Again, we can negate that through training. The movement, the medicine is the same though, and I think it's even more important for women going into perimenopause to lift heavy so that they're able to maintain that testosterone and those hormonal balances better. So things like Pilates, yoga are good, but as you said, nothing really beats kind of just picking up something heavy. Now that is relative to everybody, right? So what I'm not advising that you go in and try and lift 220 pound off the floor on your first day. What I'm saying is that you've got to progress, and you've got to progress little by little. Okay? The term is progressive overload, but you just want to try and beat what you did the last time every time you go to the gym, whether that is doing one more rep or adding a tiny bit more weight or shortening your rest time. There's lots of different ways you can do it, or making the move slightly more complex. There's lots of different ways that we can make it more challenging for ourselves, but that is how the body responds. If every time you go, you're doing the same weights, the same 3 sets of 10, for example, the body stops adapting quickly. We need to challenge it. Again, the body doesn't know how many reps we've done. It doesn't know how much weight you've picked up. It doesn't know what exercise you've done. All it knows is how hard or close to failure that muscle has got. So what we need to do is challenge it. If you're just starting out, then you'll probably find that 2, 3, even 4 reps from failure will be sufficient to stimulate muscle growth. As you get more and more trained, then you're going to have to push closer to failure to see those results.
Okay. What are some common mistakes you see older people making in the gym?
So I think one of the most common mistakes is, if you are starting out, just going online and trying to find a workout program that's designed for somebody in their 20s than something that is more appropriate. So what you need to do is just, especially if you are new to this and you're just walking into the gym, take it easy to begin with. But as I said, you can just build up slowly. So find where your starting point is. So for example, take a squat. You can find a box, even if it's just, a few inches below your bum, and squat down to that. And then next time find a slightly lower one and try and beat that until you can get all the way to a chair. Then try and get up from a chair without using your hands. Once you've done that, then you can go into just trying to do it body weight. So getting those thighs down to parallel with the floor and back up again. What you don't want to do is just chop and change workouts all the time. You want to be able to see progress. You want to be able to see measurable progress to know that you're going in the right direction. So if you're just doing random workouts every time you go into the gym, then you don't really know if it's working. So just writing down what you did, even if you don't know the name of the exercise, make something up. I've heard some wonderful made-up versions of exercise names, and so it'll give you a smile the next time you walk in the gym to see what you've called it. But writing that down and then actually just trying to beat it the next time. Because I'm always like, yeah, I'll remember what I did, and then a week time I can't remember. Yeah. So write it down so that you can track your progress. There's lots of apps, or if you just want to get a notebook, then whatever works best for you. But just find something that works for you.
I think I need to go back and rewind a little bit.
Yeah.
When do we know we're at failure?
That is something that you'll get more understanding of as you progress. But essentially, whatever exercise it is you're doing at the time, it's can you do another rep safely?
Yes. Okay.
So what we don't want to do is let our form break down. The form is the most important key when we're starting out. We've got to learn the form before we start adding weight. So that's why if you're unsure, having somebody there to guide you is really beneficial. Okay. The other thing you can do is take a video of yourself. So there's something called proprioception, which is our ability to understand our body in space. So if we have good proprioception, then we're able to feel where we are in terms of, is our back straight? Are my knees in line with my toes? If you don't have that, then video yourself. So you might think, my back's straight, and then when you look like a crooked cane. And so then you're like, okay, well, I need to correct that, and then you can correct it the next time.
Mm-hmm.
But don't be shy about videoing yourself, you know, even at home or even in the gym, because that gives you some feedback. You know, you don't need to be posting it on social media, but you just need that kind of feedback of, okay, maybe it wasn't as good as I felt it was.
Okay.
But essentially, all we're trying to do when we're going to failure is make the body work to the point of, oh, now I need to stimulate muscle growth. Mm-hmm. So if, for example, I can do 10 reps and I just keep doing 10 reps, the body's going to go, okay, well, I'm fine, I can do this. I don't need to do anything. If you try and then go 11, the body's like, oh, I need to now create new muscle so that I'm able to do that next time. And that's how we progress.
Okay. Let's talk about balance and mobility. Where's a good place to start?
Yeah. So there's flexibility and mobility. Mm-hmm. So flexibility is if I took your leg, for example, and you were lying on the floor and I lifted it up and see how far we could push it back. Mm-hmm. Say you got to 90 degrees, then that would be your flexibility. Your mobility is how far you could move it. So say you could only move it to 80 degrees, then that was your mobility. And again, it's one of those things that the body only keeps its mobility if we're using it. So that's why babies, for example, you know, they have the best squats out of anyone.
Don't they?
Because they're super supple. You know, that's it. If you want to learn how to move, watch your grandkids. You know, they are the best movers. And it's as we get older, life takes its toll, we do start to lose that mobility. But again, it's with conscious effort, we can get that mobility back. Now, you don't need to be able to do the splits. Again, it's just about being functionally able to, are you able to get down into the bottom cupboard? Are you able to get down to pick up your grandkids? So it's finding a routine that works and just targeting the areas particularly that you need targeting. So whether it's your hips or your knees or your shoulder. Again, if you go on the internet, there's for each of those things and for the rest of the body, there's 10,000 different exercises and people are coming up with things all the time. Don't get bogged down in, is there a better exercise out there? Okay, what you've got to do is find 2 or 3 different exercises that will target that mobility that you want to improve and then keep doing those. You'll get much better results than if you're like, oh, well, I've seen this video and they're doing this, so maybe that's better. And we all fall into that trap because we're always chasing like the optimal, the best thing. Whereas it's not necessarily about that. It's just about finding something that works and keep doing it consistently.
Now, I want you to get a little preachy, okay?
Yeah.
We live in a very sedentary lifestyle. We do.
We do.
All right. Why isn't this good? And what would you recommend for people who are maybe retired or sit at an office job all day, and why it's bad?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a term that's come about that sitting is the new smoking.
Yes.
And we've known for the last 70 years how bad smoking is for you. And we now realize how bad just sitting around is for you. The body thrives on that movement. And the old adage, if you don't use it, you lose it. And you just see, if you've been active and people that have stayed active, that difference versus those people that are sedentary, in your 40s, 50s, even into your 60s, those differences might not be incredibly noticeable. But as we get older, those will become wider and wider. What we need to do is move. And that means doing something daily, going for a walk. You know, we have the Humane Society here. Go out and walk a dog, for example.
True. Yeah.
You know, and then not only are you doing that, you're doing something great for the animals. Habit stack. So habit stacking is something that you already do. Add that into it. So, for example, if you need to improve your balance, one thing you could do is when you're brushing your teeth, try and stay on one leg. You always brush your teeth daily.
Hopefully, yeah.
Hopefully, twice a day. Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Then make sure. Then try and balance on one leg whilst you're brushing your teeth, because that's something you're doing. You know, you stood on two legs, just stand on one. But whatever it is, go out and move. Find something you enjoy and go and do it. And then add the resistance training, the gym on top of that. So like you said, you like yoga, you like Pilates, you like going for walks.
I do.
Brilliant. Do those things. And then you only need to do maybe 2 gym sessions a week on top of that, where you're just trying to work those muscles. But sitting around is not good for our health, it's not good for our mental health, it's not good for our physical health. We need to move. The body loves that, and it is amazing. My job is just to, you know, see people as they, you know, have this sudden realization. Mm-hmm. One of my clients turned around to me maybe 2 weeks ago and said, wow, if only I'd known it was that easy. You just show up twice a week for a couple of years and then you just feel this good.
Oh, wow.
And that's it in a nutshell, is you just got to show up for yourself, you know. If not for anyone else, then do it for yourself. Like, it's madness to just sit around all the time.
And I think, too, if you sit too long, I think that increases your pain, because scientifically, I believe you're in contraction.
Yeah.
So your muscles contract, and when you stand up, it extends. So the longer you sit, the tighter you become.
Yeah, absolutely. And things like you putting, you know, unless you're sat upright, which very few people are, because
yeah,
it's
slouch.
Then when we're slouching, we're putting huge pressure on that lower back, and that's when people get back pain. So, for example, in office jobs, people are getting that back pain because they're sat down for long periods. So again, even if you are working in an office job, try and get up and move around. You know, just do some twists. You know, there's stuff you can do at your chair. You know, you can just grab one hand on the armrest and twist just to keep that spine supple. Because again, when it seizes up, that's when we have the issues.
Before we leave today, is there anything else you'd like to add that I haven't asked? I mean, there's tons, but...
Yeah, absolutely. I think the key thing is just starting. I think people are so afraid of it. And often the first time you walk into a gym, it can be intimidating. You know, there's lots of people there that are probably lifting heavy weights and throwing them around. You don't need to be worried about them. They're not going to be worried about you. And for the most part, from my experience, if you're unsure and you ask that big burly dude, he's probably delighted to help you and to show you, you know. So just start and see where it takes you, because life is a short but wonderful experience, and we have to make the most of it. And exercise is the foundation that everything else is built on. So if you don't know what your long-term goals are, or you don't know, like, you're not sure about yourself, all those things, the building block is your health and your fitness. And if you start with that, then you can build everything else on top of that.
Well, thank you so much, Chris. How can people reach you?
So I am a trainer at Great White Fitness in Venetian Plaza, just off opposite Shedden Road. So you can find us at greatwhitefitness.ky, or I am on Instagram at NUTALL PT.
I think you have some YouTube videos too, right?
On my Instagram, yes, I do have some videos up there. So for example, there's a 5-minute hip mobility, and again, I'm always putting out content, free stuff that you can see on there if you are interested. And again, there's lots of accounts out there that will show you some great stuff. But the main thing is just kind of don't get bogged down in that.
Thank you so much, Chris, for being on For the Health of It.
It was an absolute pleasure.
Well, Happy New Year, everyone. And I hope that you will make fitness and your health a priority this year. Thank you for listening to For the Health of It. We are moving you to the life you want.
If you or your loved one is facing cancer, only Sylvester will stand firmly by your side at every step, from diagnosis through survivorship, providing you and your family peace of mind and assisting with everything you need before, during, and after your stay with us. Sylvester Comprehensive Cancer Center is South Florida's only NCI-designated cancer center and specializes in treating the most complex cancer cases. Your first-class cancer care is just a flight away. Learn more at sylvester.org.
When I first started going to Healthcare Pharmacy, it was because it was convenient. But over the years, I continued to shop there because I trusted them. One day I was picking up my prescription, and the pharmacist noticed an over-the-counter medication in my basket. She said, "I hope that's not yours. It will interact with your prescription." And I thought, wow, thank you. Trust is so important when it comes to your health. Healthcare Pharmacy, with 2 locations, Grand Harbor and Governor Square, where they care about my health.
This is For the Health of It with Tara Bush. Brought to you by the Health Services Authority. Caring people, quality service. Visit hsa.ky.
For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
Brought to you by Healthcare Pharmacy, where they care about your health. 2 locations, Governor Square and Grand Harbor. Refill and transfer prescriptions online. Call 947-8900 or visit healthcarepharmacy.ky. Also brought to you by Cayman Medical Center, Cayman's most awarded private medical clinic.
And UHealth, International University of Miami.
World-class healthcare in the heart of Miami.
The Light Room, your holistic sanctuary for physical and mental restoration, repair, and rejuvenation. The power that made the body heals the body. 38 Pasadora Place, Georgetown. Find us online at www.thelightroom.ky or call 938-HEAL.
This is the People's Radio Station. Radio Cayman in the